Somewhere 10,000 feet below the surface of the Atlantic Ocean, in the crushing darkness of the abyssal zone, lies a graveyard of over 4,000 luxury cars. This isn't a scene from a disaster movie. It's the very real, very expensive final resting place for some of the rarest Lamborghinis, Porsches, Bentleys, and Audis ever made. A fortune in exotic metal and engineering, now an artificial reef for deep-sea creatures. How did this happen? Welcome to Did You Know by FactBite Daily. Today we're diving deep into the dramatic story of the Felicity Ace, a maritime disaster that highlights the unique and dangerous challenges of our modern electrified world. Our story begins in February 2022. The Felicity Ace, a colossal cargo ship stretching 650 feet long, that's more than 2 football fields, was on a routine voyage. It had departed from Emden, Germany, loaded with a glittering cargo of brand new vehicles from the Volkswagen Group, and was charting a course across the Atlantic to Davisville, Rhode Island, in the United States. On board were nearly 4,000 cars, a veritable who's who of automotive luxury. We're talking about 1,100 Porsches, 189 Bentleys, and a host of Audis, Volkswagens, and even some highly sought-after Lamborghinis. For the wealthy customers awaiting their custom-ordered dream cars, the excitement was building. But that excitement was about to turn to ash. 9 days into its journey, as the ship sailed about 200 nautical miles off the coast of Portugal's Azores Islands, disaster struck. A fire alarm blared through the vessel. A fire had broken out deep within one of the cargo decks. The 22-member crew sprang into action, attempting to combat the blaze, but it quickly grew beyond their control. Thick, acrid smoke filled the massive steel structure. The captain made the only call he could: abandon ship. A Portuguese Navy patrol boat and 4 merchant ships in the area raced to the scene, and thankfully, in a daring helicopter and boat rescue operation coordinated by the Portuguese Navy and Air Force, all 22 crew members were evacuated safely. They were alive, but their ship was now a ghost vessel, an unguided, floating inferno, drifting aimlessly in the Atlantic. This is where the story takes a fascinating and terrifying turn. Normally, a ship fire, while serious, can often be contained with water. But the Felicity Ace was carrying a new kind of cargo with a new kind of danger. Among the thousands of gasoline-powered cars were a significant number of electric vehicles. And when the fire reached them, it unleashed a chemical nightmare. The massive lithium-ion battery packs in these EVs are incredibly energy-dense. Once they ignite, they can enter a state called thermal runaway. This isn't like a normal fire. It's a self-sustaining, chain-reaction chemical fire. The heat from one burning battery cell triggers the next cell to overheat and ignite, which triggers the next, and so on. This process generates its own oxygen, which means you can't smother it in the traditional sense. Even worse, spraying it with water can be incredibly dangerous. The extreme heat can split water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen, literally adding explosive fuel to the fire. The temperature inside the ship's hold soared to unimaginable levels, melting steel and turning the interior into a raging furnace. Salvage crews arriving on the scene faced an impossible task. They couldn't just pump tons of water onto the ship, because the sheer weight of it could make the vessel unstable and cause it to capsize. Specialized firefighting tugs arrived, spraying the hull with water jets just to cool the steel and prevent it from buckling, but they couldn't attack the source of the fire directly. The blaze was too intense, too deep within the ship, and fueled by a volatile mix of battery chemicals, gasoline, rubber tires, plastic components, and high-end leather interiors. For over a week, the world watched as the Felicity Ace burned. Satellite images showed a plume of smoke trailing from the ship as it drifted, a $400 million bonfire in the middle of the ocean. As the fire slowly began to die down, a massive salvage operation was underway. The goal was to tow the smoldering hulk to a safe port. A large salvage tug finally managed to attach a tow line and began the slow, arduous process of pulling the crippled ship toward the Bahamas. It seemed like the worst might be over. But the Felicity Ace had one last tragic surprise in store. While under tow in rough seas, the Felicity Ace suddenly developed a severe list, tilting 45 degrees to its starboard side. The salvage crew could only watch helplessly as the giant vessel, laden with its charred and melted cargo, began to take on water. On the morning of March 1st, 2022, just 13 days after the fire began, the Felicity Ace slipped beneath the waves and sank. It came to rest approximately 10,000 feet, or nearly 2 miles, down on the seabed, taking its entire multi-million-dollar cargo with it. The loss was staggering. The total value of the cars was estimated to be around $400 million, with the overall loss, including the ship itself, exceeding $500 million. But for car enthusiasts, the financial loss was secondary to the cultural one. Among the sunken vehicles were some truly irreplaceable machines. Perhaps the most heartbreaking loss was the final production run of the Lamborghini Aventador Ultimae. This was the last hurrah for Lamborghini's iconic naturally aspirated V12 engine, a model collectors were desperate to get their hands on. They were, quite literally, the last of their kind. Lamborghini was forced to restart production just to fulfill these orders, a complex and expensive process. For Porsche, it meant thousands of customers facing long delays for their 911s, Panameras, and Taycans. Each car on that ship represented a dream, a milestone, or a passion project for its owner, now lost forever to the depths. Today, the Felicity Ace lies in perpetual darkness, a rust-covered monument to the risks of modern global shipping, and a stark reminder of the new challenges posed by electric vehicle technology. Marine biologists have noted that while tragic, such wrecks can eventually become artificial reefs, providing complex habitats for deep-sea corals, sponges, and other life forms. So, in a strange twist of fate, this tomb of automotive excellence is slowly transforming into an oasis of life, a $400 million loss, now home only to the creatures of the deep. It's an eerie, compelling image. A ghostly Porsche 911 covered in sea anemones, a skeletal Bentley housing a family of eels. It's a silent underwater museum of what was, a testament to the unforgiving power of the ocean and the unpredictable nature of fire. The sinking of the Felicity Ace sent shockwaves through the shipping and automotive industries, prompting a major re-evaluation of safety protocols for transporting electric vehicles by sea. It's a complex problem that still doesn't have a perfect solution, and it is a story we'll likely see revisited as the world continues its transition to electric mobility. So, here's a question for you. If you had a deep-sea submersible and could salvage just one car from that wreck, which would it be? The last V12 Aventador? A classic Porsche 911? A luxurious Bentley? Tell us your choice in the comments below. Thanks for watching this episode of Did You Know? If you found this story as fascinating as we did, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Fact Bite Daily for more dramatic bites from history and the modern world. We'll see you next time.